Welcome to the Pacers Recap Show. This is Teddy Weeks, along with Jack McElwee, to discuss this weekend's series against Lincoln Memorial. The USC Aiken Pacers swept Lincoln Memorial. The first two games, Jack, were very easy, but that one yesterday was a marathon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Teddy, quite a marathon pitching performance. They used 8 pitchers yesterday, and used everybody but Santa Claus, it seemed like. But they came out victorious, and what I really liked about yesterday's game was that they hung in there, even in the face of almost sudden defeat, and they kept coming back and kept coming back. And it was quite a long game, obviously.
And you know, we say baseball is a team sport, and I think Coach Thomas played just about every eligible player he had yesterday that could get into the game. He used a pinch runner there, I think in the 10th inning from them. We didn't score with it, and of course, he couldn't get back in the game. But Tyler Ammerman came through with that big hit yesterday afternoon and got us where we needed to be. 3-0 is better than 2-1. But let's discuss a little bit about the first game we had Friday night, the first one we broadcast.
You know, the pitcher that they threw at us Friday night, Ethan Elliott, is their ace. And he beat us last year in the middle game of a 3-game series, which we took two to 3 games from them. And it sort of looked like we might have an easy go of it, you know, Teddy, when we beat him fairly readily and didn't seem to have any problem in the second game either. But yesterday's game was a completely different story.
Yes, it was. We started Jimmy Lynch, and they got 3 runs real quick on Jimmy. And he pitched 5 innings, and I really thought he did a good job. I talked with pitching coach Andrew Warner after the game, and he said he struck out 7 batters, and they just took him out because it's a long season and didn't want to waste his arm. And then we went to our bullpen. Some of them were very good, some of them were not that good. But, you know, that's the game of baseball. But at the end, it came through, and we won the game. I think the score was 10-9 and 11 innings. So, you know, we did win, and that's the most important thing.
You know, there were 32 hits, and maybe even more telling, 5 errors. 3 of them on the Pacers, and that was a problem with them last year in these close games. They would give up a timely error here and there, and it would cost them. This time, it cost them, but it cost them perhaps an easier victory, although they still came out ahead at the end.
Well, one of the errors that was charged to Skylar McCardo, we had a discussion up in the press box, and I thought it took a bad hop on him, and I would have given him a hit if I'd have been the official scorer. But the official scorer disagreed, so he got like that. But that doesn't really matter. They turned a tremendous double play there in one of the late innings that came through. One of the things they did yesterday, they had to make some multiple substitutions, and they took Dalton Weeks, who's the third baseman regular, and put him over in first base. And the reason why they did that is because Pereira started, and they took him out for a pinch runner in the late innings, and Banks they used him as a pinch hitter earlier. So the versatility of the players we have really showed out.
Well, the coach had mentioned in our discussions with him earlier in the beginning of the season and preseason was that he was really happy with the depth of this team, not just the pitching, but at the positions and the skill positions. And you can swap these guys out at first base, third base, even at shortstop. And the outfielders can swap back and forth, and they didn't quite have that last year, did they, Teddy?
No, depth is a big thing on this team. We've got 3 very good catchers, real good catchers. And looking at what we've had, we've got a couple of our hitters who will hit are kind of struggling right now in the batting order. But it's early. It's only 3 games into the season, and we've got to move. We talked with Coach Thomas earlier today, and let's go to Coach Thomas.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Coach of the USC Aiken Pacers, Kenny Thomas. And, Coach, congratulations. Great series for the Pacers this weekend.
Well, thank you, Tony. It was kind of a unique series. You know, Friday we win 9-0, pitch a 2-hitter. Struck out, I think, 12 on Friday and didn't walk but 2. And Saturday we went 8-1. Again, pitched really well. 3 or 4 guys that threw the ball extremely well. Gave up a solo homer is all we gave up on Saturday. Then yesterday it turns into a slugfest. We give up 3 runs in the first inning, and you know, we catch up, and finally the game's tied 7-7. We go behind in the 9th. We're 2 runs down in the bottom of the 9th, score 2 runs and tie it up, and then go the 11th inning and win it 10-9. So three totally different games there, and but it was a good win for us. We got a lot of players in the games this weekend, which was important. But we won all three, and we're very satisfied to be where we're at today.
Well, you can't complain with having a perfect record, but as you said, yesterday's game was a challenge for the Pacers. What lessons do you think that these Pacers took from this opening weekend series?
Well, we've talked a lot about in our preseason the third game of series, those Sunday games, the third game of a series. And I told the guys yesterday, when you go into a third game of the series, you're in one of three scenarios. You're either trying to survive the series, which means you've lost two and you're trying to survive it. You're trying to win the series, which means you've split and you're trying to win the series, or you're trying to sweep it. None of those are easy. Every one of those are tough. And you have to know what mode your opponent's in too. Like yesterday, Lincoln Memorial was in the survival mode. We were in the giant step mode, trying to sweep. So that makes it difficult. They're going to play even harder when they're in the survival mode. You have to understand that. So, and if you go back and you look at the end of the season, if you wait till the end of the year and you go back and you look at your record and you go down through there and you look at those Sunday games, those third game of the series, and see how you did, that lots of times dictates how good a season you had. That third game is very tough. So I think our guys, it was funny because I talked to them yesterday morning about that. And then lo and behold, we get into a gunslinging shootout out there on Sunday afternoon, and it kind of matched what I told them that morning what was going to happen. So hopefully we learned a little thing. We didn't play quite as well on Sunday. We didn't play as good a defense. We didn't quite pitch as well. But most importantly, Lincoln Memorial played in a survival mode, and they really came after us extremely hard. They were bunting. I told them, I said, boys, expect to bunt in the first inning if they get a man on, because they're in the survival mode. Didn't happen in the first inning, but it happened in the second inning. So, you just have to you have to understand where you are, and I think yesterday taught us a lot about that.
Now you're going into this second week of the season. Talk to us about the games ahead for the USC Aiken Pacers.
Well, we got to go on the road Wednesday. Somebody at the gym this morning said, Coach, you usually don't go on the road this early in the year, do you? No, they're exactly right. I usually don't. So we're going to Wingate University on Wednesday up in Wingate, North Carolina, 145 miles from here. And it's going to be real challenging. Very, very good ball club. I haven't been there since my first year here. We've played them a couple of times here. Played them here last year. Very good ball club. Very good. Well coached. Very good team. We're going to have our hands full.
A one-night stand.
And a one-night stand. We go in, play one game. It's last year, as I told the players last night after the game. One of our knocks on our team last year was we didn't play well on the road. We didn't have a great road record. We were like 500 on the road. So we've got to improve on that. We must be better on the road. So I threw this road game in a little earlier this year, earlier in the season, to kind of get us maybe adjusted. So we're on the road Wednesday. Then we come right back home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got Shepherd University out of West Virginia, was in the NCAA tournament last year. Very good ball club. Beat Pembroke yesterday. It's in our conference, UNC Pembroke. Very good team. It's big for us because we probably understand that Shepherd's going to go back, get in their conference, and do really well. So how we do against them in February is going to mean power rating points one way or the other come May, because Shepherd's probably going to go back, get in their conference, and do extremely well. We'll be in consideration for NCAA tournament, which gives us points if we do well against them. So it's a big weekend.
Is that the reason you play these national caliber teams early on, is for points, or do you play them for other reasons?
Well, I like to play good teams, and it's been a struggle here for a few years. We have to pay out a lot of guarantees and to get people to come and play, and it's been a struggle a little bit. But I like to play the better teams. I think it's good for us. I don't like people thinking we're dodging anybody. I want us to play well. But when you look at the way the NCAA bids go for NCAA Division II, when you watch their formula, you better figure out that formula and try to match some of your scheduling with that. So, like I said, part of the formula is how you did against teams that are under consideration. So, when we got Shepherd on the schedule, when we've got Nova Southeastern that won the national championship last year on the schedule, we have Lincoln Memorial on the schedule, we have Catawba on the schedule. There's a reason for that. And Wingate, another team that's on the schedule this year, you're trying to match up how they call them boxes, how you do in each box in May. So hopefully we win our conference, we win our tournament. None of them boxes matter, but you better make sure in case you don't.
Well, we are looking forward to this coming weekend. We'll be back in action on Oldies KSX with the broadcast team, a Friday afternoon game against Shepherd, and we wish you the best of luck on the road against Wingate between now and then.
Thanks, Tony. And again, we thank all the fans for coming out this week. Had huge crowds all weekend. We thank them. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you.
People are ready for baseball.
They're ready for it.
And
That's
you're
right.
past ready. You're
I've been ready. Been ready. That's right.
All right, guys, back to the studio with you as we leave Coach Kenny Thomas 3-0 on this 2017 season.
Thank you, Coach Thomas. Jack, let's recap the 3 games we had this past weekend.
Well, the first game on Friday night, and we broadcast that game on 92.7 KSX and worldwide on KSX927.com. So you can listen to us wherever you are, whatever you're doing. The first game we won fairly easily on 9 runs, 15 hits, no errors, and no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Rail Splitters. Second game, again, wasn't really too much of a struggle for us. 8 runs on 11 hits. But we had 3 errors in that game, but it didn't really cost us much, Teddy.
No, it didn't.
And 1 run, 8 hits, and 6 hits and 2 errors for Lincoln Memorial. The third game, however, the marathon game, we had 10 runs on 17 hits, 3 errors against 9 runs and 15 hits and 2 errors for Lincoln Memorial. What a game. 5 hours and 15 minutes almost. That's got to be one of the longest games I've ever seen.
It was one of the longest I've had. And one of the things, and I've talked with Coach Thomas after the game, the Lincoln Memorial pitchers do more stepping off, fake throws than anybody we've ever had. That's what takes so much time. And when you change pitches all the time, it just takes time, because when a pitcher comes in out the bullpen, he gets 8 warm-ups, and you continue doing that, and that makes for a long game. Now we go to Wingate on Wednesday. Wingate is in the South Atlantic Conference.
It's up in North Carolina, isn't it?
It's very close to Charlotte. If you go up 601 and take a right, and you're almost in Wingate. Wingate is a very good competitive baseball team. They've been in the regionals in the past, and they'll be fighting for the championship in the South Atlantic Conference. Their ballpark is kind of an unusual park. It's large, very large. The wind blows in, and it's unique. It's a nice stadium, but it's just unique. And the Pacers are going to have a great game when they go up there on Wednesday and try to win it.
We only have the 1 game with Wingate, and then we go to a 3-game series with Shepherd.
Yes, and Shepherd. I can't remember the exact conference they were in, but they win the NCAA regionals last year, somewhere up on the East Coast. And this past weekend they were 1-2, and I think they was over in UNC Pembroke. I think they finished up 1-2 over there. It's a very good foe for us to play, and we'll have to play well.
And Teddy, for all of us here at the KSX, we'd like to thank Kenny Thomas for his time, as always. He's such a class act, and a great win for him this season to start off 3-0. And you know what he's looking for towards down the road, 1 game at a time, or 1 game at a time, 1 day at a time. But in the back of his mind, he's looking to kind of get back to that last game that they came this close to the World Series last year.
And he told me he'd never coached in the Division II World Series, and I kind of hope they will. But like you say, it's a long way to go. And we got pitching and defense. That's how you win championships. I mean, there's no question about that. And I'm sure on Wednesday night, Nick Iobi will be on the mound. And then I imagine next weekend he'll go back with the same 3 starters he had. The pitching, in my opinion, has been very good. We pitched 2 or 3 freshmen, junior college guys that came in, and that takes a while. We're talking about that. Yesterday, our center fielder, who is Jose Bonilla, the ball was hit the center field, and the jet stream got it and took it, and it almost went over the fence, but it hit the wall. But after he's played in that ballpark for a length of time, he'll understand how to move around. But he is an outstanding ball player. He laid down a bunt yesterday in a crucial situation. I just really like the way he plays. And we got to get Zach Moon's bat going. Zach got a good big hit yesterday in a crucial thing, kept the game going when we were almost down. And so, I mean, again, it's a team effort, Jack. I mean, it's everything we've got to go right. And the weather's supposed to be good this weekend, so I'm hoping that we will kick it on. And we'll be on KSX on Friday night with the Kenny Thomas Show at 6:30.
And, one thing that I really liked to see in this game yesterday was that we put down a couple of very timely bunts. Last year, it seemed like we couldn't bunt our way out of a paper sack.
Oh.
And they put down a couple of really good bunts yesterday at crucial times.
Yes, they did. And, I mean, matter of fact, when somebody tried to bunt and it bunted foul, and somebody in the press box says, "We can't bunt. They don't ever work on it." And I said, "I beg the difference. We do it every day." And I mean, I watched them take batting practice before all 3 games, and they always laying down a bunt. Bunting's a lot harder than people think about it.
Yes, it is. And, on that note, probably wrap up here. And we thank you for listening. And thanks to Kenny Thomas for allowing us into his ballpark. And best of luck to him against Wingate, Teddy, and we'll be there.
We'll be there Friday at 6:30 with the Coach Kenny Thomas Show. We invite all of you to come on out and see the Pacers play.
And one other thing we should bring up, that in the second game, even though it was kind of a walk-off game, so to speak, the Pacers set not only a Peach Belt Conference record, but a Division II, or a school record, for the Pacers, with 3 triples in 1 inning. And Mitchell Price, Ty Emmerman, and Dalton Weeks all hammered out 3 triples in 1 inning.
Yes, they did. They really did. And you were going back to the bunt. A situation we had over there yesterday, I can't remember who laid down that bunt.
Pereira laid one down.
And I'm trying to think who the other one laid it down. I don't have my scorebook in front of me right now. But you got to give credit what credit's due, and they work on that type of situation. And before we go, we got to talk a little bit about our assistant coaches. They do a lot of work over there.
Yes,
I mean, there's no question about it. Andrew Warner's as good a pitching coach as there is in the country. You got Phil Disher, who All-American, played at Carolina, played in the pros for a while. You got Ben Donath, who keeps that field looking immaculate. I just rode by there, and it's green as it can be. And then Joe Marlowe, who's the graduate assistant out there, he's played, knows what is going on, and you got to give those people credit. And I think with what the team we have in place, it'll go well.
Well, let's look forward to a victory at Wingate. And Teddy, for Teddy Weeks and myself, Jack McElwee, thanks for listening.
Thank you.